Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Friday, the 18th of November. Robert Murray McShane has us reading the second chapter of Luke, the story of Jesus' birth. The chapter begins, "In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria. And everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David." And we all know that while he was in Bethlehem, Jesus was born. And that really just impresses on me the sovereignty of God. Caesar Augustus issued a decree for his own purposes, for his own interests, that he wanted probably something about taxation to make more money or whatever it was. He had his agenda, and he had no thought of God. He hadn't even thought or heard of the God of Israel, and if he has, it would have been completely irrelevant to him. He just did what he wanted to do. And yet God used what he did to make sure that Joseph ended up going from Nazareth all the way down to Bethlehem, so that Jesus would be born in Bethlehem, fulfilling prophecies that had been made hundreds of years before in the scriptures. And that really does just show how God is in control. And we sometimes think that God being in control will be sort of completely unusual events and miracles and angels appearing. No. It's the normal, everyday life. And God will use people like Augustus, whether he knows it or not. And so much of what is going on around us, it's not that things are getting away from God. God is using them. And I dare say that Joseph was really upset. And it was a huge inconvenience to him. And everybody that ended up having to trek all over the show to get to their own towns must have been complaining bitterly about what this ridiculous leader was doing and why he did. And they didn't think this was a good idea. And yet that is part of how God worked. And so as our lives go through their complicated motions and things happen and people do things and we sometimes feel like we're just caught up in it, we can step back as Christians and say, in actual fact, it is okay, because God is ultimately in control, and he will make sure that his purposes are achieved. So be encouraged to trust in God, to rely on him, and to take comfort in that, particularly when idiots in government issue decrees that inconvenience you and make you do things that you don't really want to do. God is still in control. So be encouraged and be blessed.